Peace, love, good health, and black power.
What's up, sir? How you doing, man?
My man, always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Man, I got
back in the saddle.
I called a couple of times, man, but he been kind of busy. I got to get my man back on the show.
Yeah. He busy doing his, putting in
his
work.
thing. Yeah, he doing his thing. Hey, champ, before we start, I want to give a shout out to my brother Lou. He my brother-in-law, but we took the brother-in-law out of it.
Okay.
He always watches the show, man. He probably the only one watching it. every show he call me up, man. Yeah.
Hey, man, tell me, subscribe 20 times.
Hey, big brother Lou, we love you, champ.
Yes, sir.
And man, you know what I love about Lou, man? He remind me of the old throwback jokers that's gonna tell you what's on his mind, no matter whether you like it or not, and don't care.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my man ain't got no problem with hurting your feelings.
Man. Yeah,
That's
real old man.
Man, yeah. He ain't got no problem with hurting your feelings. But everything he's saying the truth. He ain't just hurting your feelings just to hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
And he ain't bothering nobody. But if you go say, hey man, what you think about this? You better be prepared. You better be prepared, man. Shit. I asked him, I say, man, dude, man, I want you to come on the show and spread some knowledge. He said, man, they gonna ban you. You don't want me to come on there. I'm doing you a favor.
Oh, man. They gonna ban you from YouTube.
They gonna ban you.
Man.
I know we talking about the manosphere today, but before we get into it, man, I just want to ask you, man, what you think going on in the world today, man? You see all these killings, man.
Hey, man. Yeah, the kill, it was 19 kids, man.
Yeah.
I haven't been following it because how can you fathom 19 kids getting killed, man? What type of individual would do this, man?
Man, but you ain't forget he shot his grandmama in the face before he go kill the kids.
Yeah. Yeah, what? Yeah.
But and so I got a buddy that I was talking to. He said, man, the rifles that he had 2 rifles. And I don't know how true this is. I'm just going by what my buddy said. I didn't do no fact checking, so don't get mad with me. But he said the rifles was like $5,000 a piece.
Damn.
Yeah. And
So he been saving up for what? Because he was a youngin', wasn't he?
And so if we could say he been saving up, or we could say he was a conspiracy and somebody gave him this rifle and was like, hey man, yeah. Because at 18, where you gonna save?
Yeah. And what was his race? What was his race?
I think he was Spanish.
So he Latino killing Latinos?
Latino, yeah. Yeah, I think he was Spanish.
Man.
But besides that, just, man, I'm like you, I don't even really like the news, like watching the news no more because it's just so depressing, man.
Depressing, man. Yeah. Every time I read the paper, man, I go to the health section and the editorials of like what people are talking about, their view on certain topics, economics, something like that, man. But it's just too negative, man. It's just too. Yeah, I don't understand how. I mean, what do you think? The whole thing is now people are saying this gun control, and I know a lot of the dudes who live out in the country and love their guns. But my thing is, what do you need an assault rifle for? Yeah. If you hunt, that's one thing, but it should be no reason unless you're in the military that you can get an assault rifle. Right. You shouldn't be able to shoot people several assault. It's one thing to have protection. Yeah. But it's another thing to have assault rifle. That is for war. Yeah. That is for multiple killings at once. Yeah. It's no reason it should be sold to civilians, man. Because if he had a pistol or a shotgun, it would have been half of that. Yeah. And so they supposed to have this this weekend, the NRA supposed to have this big get together, and so they talk about banning them. I doubt they ban these too many, People love their guns, man. People love their guns. And so, man, we talking about the manosphere today. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's talk about this manosphere. So, man, give me the definition of manosphere. Man, so hold on. I'm gonna give you what I've been going down the rabbit hole, and remember that's the reason why I wanted you to start the show. That's the reason, right? Because what I saw was that I didn't know it's a whole population of men who feel what's the word, man? Set aside
Mm-hmm.
a whole population of men who don't know how to be men.
Right.
And so, my understanding is kind of like not an attack, but the opposite or a response to feminism. Because what they're saying is that feminism, they can say anything about men, they can do whatever, and everything now is about a woman,
right.
while men are getting pushed aside. And so their whole thing is like responding to feminism, like, yo, we are important too.
Right.
And again, I think what it is responding to so many men who don't know what it is to be a man.
Right.
So it's just a lot of information about there, trying to teach men how to get girls, trying to teach men how to become better men, trying to teach men how to, like, does this be not weak?
Right.
It's a lot of, and then unfortunately,
so almost like alpha males.
Yes.
Okay.
This whole alpha male started with this manosphere type thing. Yeah. From my understanding, like it's a lot of manosphere people might come and say, man, you don't got it all wrong.
Right.
They even got a part of it called MGTOW, men going their own way.
Man.
Meaning like they forget about women.
Oh. Well, I don't want no MGTOW.
Man.
No, thank you to the MGTOW. You can keep that motherfucker.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. Yeah.
But you know, it's funny you said that because you got now a lot of men that can't get women. They buying these dolls, man, and happy with the dolls.
Hey, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I seen when I was watching some of these videos, they had a panel of men talking about different things and issues about basically getting women.
Right.
And one dude said, yes, well, I have my doll. She has an Instagram account, blah, blah, blah. And yes, and man, he was talking about it with pride.
Man.
And I said, man, that is the weakest shit that I ever seen, man. And my thing was, it was bad that he was talking about with confidence, like, and my dog got she got her own account.
Yeah. Are you saying doll?
Doll. You know, the doll that they have.
Yeah. D-O-L-L.
D-O-L, yeah. My dog has her. Yeah, man, these dudes entertain that.
Man.
I'd have kicked that joke off. Are you serious?
Man.
Like you always say, man, and this is how I feel about a lot of it, man. Man, get that weak. You see a weak joker coming to gym? Yeah. Nah, man, you got to get away from it. That can rub off.
The energy rub off.
I couldn't even. I had to, man. I said, yeah, this is too much for me.
Yeah.
Like the energy was just. Yeah.
And so, did you ever watch that Red Pill?
Red Pill, yes.
The documentary on Red Pill on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, man, you know, for me, I'm really not a fan of the manosphere like that, because I feel like it's I feel the dude's plight, but I feel like it's just a place for weak dudes, man. Like I was watching the Red Pill and the dudes was like, man, you know, man, they don't let the women in the army, like we expendable, and man, they don't have a house of battered men. Over the United States, we just have 2 houses of battered men, where in every city they got 10 houses. And I'm like, man, who the fuck? First of all, if you marry a woman that whoop you, you crazy. And dude say, my wife beat me, but I called the police, they laughed at me.
As they should.
As they should. And so, let it be clear, we're not condoning beating women. That's not what we're doing. But don't get no woman that can beat you. There's no way, champ. Yeah, champ.
And to me, they responding in the same sentiment as a woman kind of respond.
Yeah.
Like, regardless, let women have their say. Let women have their feminism.
Yeah.
If it's something that you don't agree with, you don't got to deal with it.
Man, you ain't got to deal with it.
Man, you always have to remain a man, regardless of.
Man, I think,
regardless of what they saying or what if you agree with it or not.
Yeah.
You know, man, I think the thing that to me that gets to me is like you said, the complaining and
man,
like that's how it's always been. women and children first. When they're both singing, what they say?
Yeah.
Women and children
first.
Now you like, nah, man, because
go
man, we equality.
Fuck that kid. And that seemed like it would be something that you would want to do.
Yeah.
As a man, it seemed like it would be something that you would want to do.
So I think they're going too far into the emotionalism. Like one thing, it's a dude who wrote a real good book about intersexual dynamics. I'm not saying I agree with everything, but it's food for thought. Mm-hmm. Real good book. It's called Rational Male. Rollo, I think Tomasi, something like that. But he has a show, and I was watching this show, man, and he was talking about the dude that killed himself, the cook.
Anthony Bourdain.
Anthony Bourdain. I guess Anthony Bourdain had a young girl.
Right.
And the young girl got caught with another dude somewhere, and she basically said, "Hey, don't tell him," you know. And the dude, so anyway, the dude was saying that he killed himself because of her. And I'm just like, how do you? Yeah. That is the weakest. Yeah. Like you present this to men.
But you got a lot of, man. I just seen on yesterday. I think it was an Indian couple. The dude killed his wife. They got 2 kids. He killed his wife, and then set himself on fire and jumped out the window.
Damn.
Jumped out the window and committed suicide. You got a lot of dudes. It hasn't came out, but I got it being that she probably wanted.
She wanted to leave. Like,
she wanted to leave.
Yeah, man. So the thing that I think is positive about the manosphere is a lot of people are talking about being a man, taking responsibility.
Kevin Samuels.
Yeah.
Kevin Samuels.
And you know, he's called, now they got it separate, the black manosphere.
Right.
Yeah. And Kevin Samuels, exactly. That's what I can agree with, man. Like,
I love Kevin Samuels, man. I love Kevin Samuels. Matter of fact, I was just talking to my son-in-law about it yesterday. You know, like, when he first started the show, it was all about men. I think that he got popular because he told this lady, "You average your best." Yeah. And then he just kind of took that route because it started getting. But he telling men, be men. Yeah. Be men, and man, I'm all with that, man. I'm all.
You know another thing? Hate to interrupt you, but
no.
He was really a mouthpiece for what a lot of men already thought.
Man, I'm already saying it, but that's why I ain't got no friends now. Man, I'm with everybody say, man, you too. But I feel like if I'm your friend and I got your best interests at heart, and not that I'm no genius and I know everything, but some stuff by me being almost 60 that I've been through, so I can tell a younger dude, nah, man, nah, man, we should be able to do, champ, these entitled, nah, man.
Yeah, and like you said, you was raised by men. It was a village.
I was raised by men.
Yeah. So,
and they wasn't going for all this pitiful, self-entitled, you could do what you want to do, nah. And we were talking about it earlier, man, they got guidelines for what it takes to be a man, but some type of way we didn't went this way where anybody can do what they want to do and anything's acceptable. This a genderless society type thing, and it's just crazy, man. You know, if you I was watching on Instagram, and this dude looked just like you and I, but he put on a dress, and he telling this guy that, hey man, I want you to refer to me as she and her, and the guy was like, man, just because you, man, I'm not, it's just because that's what you want to be referred to, I'm not doing that, man. I'm not doing that, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with being gay and none of that, but if you telling me that I could see your penis print, but you saying, you don't worry about that, I'm still a she. Yeah, the bed and everything. Yeah. And then you'll be looked at as a bad guy, but by not referring to this person as she want to be referred to, when you know that this is a man. Yeah, it's just we just live in a crazy world, man.
You just and it's a culture of a cancel culture that, man, they gonna cancel you out if you don't adhere to the crowd idea of reality.
Yeah.
So they like,
but
man,
hold on, but I understand what you're saying, and everything you're saying is right. But you telling me, forget what my parents taught me from 9 months on up. This is a chair. Yeah. This is a table. This is a boy. This is a girl. Forget all that.
Yeah.
You gonna tell me at 57 years old that this what a girl could be a boy and a boy could be a girl, and I just supposed to go along with that?
Man. Yeah, and it's interesting you put it that way, because you're basically saying, like, not only that, throughout human history, right, and you basically saying that I'm just supposed to accept anything that you give me,
anything you say,
and if I look at it and say that I don't agree with it, then I'm wrong. It's like,
and then you get canceled,
So it's they say the people with power define reality.
Man, I feel like they can define their reality, but they can't define my reality.
But the thing is, they can define you, but what it is, it might not be your reality, but they define a reality for other people, and people are following it.
Yeah, but I'm not following.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
I can't
following the crowd. But now it's what's the word? It's going against them, because now with sports, these same women who fought for playing the same sports as guys and having, the Olympics and everything. Now you got guys like this one swimmer who was like average at best, right, as a swimmer. Yeah. Went and smoked the girls, and he just put on didn't have no sex change or nothing. No. Yeah.
You say I identify as a woman.
Yeah, and so now the truth is starting to, like the truth, like your mother said, the truth don't lie. Yeah, so it's gonna always come to the surface. Yeah. Now these women who've been training since they were babies, right, are getting all the training basically wiped out because of this whole situation that you can identify as whatever you want.
Okay, so let me go, because me and you talk about this a lot.
Yeah.
So what do you think about? What do you think? Because I know you always say, man, the women kind of get out of hand as far as, dealing with the men, treating the men any type. Well, what's your idea on the women today?
I think, well, it's dependent. Like, my black women are different. I'm familiar with more black women.
Okay, so that's all we really talking about.
I guess one thing that, a lot of people know me, they know that I would say is, like, when they talk about patriarchy, that has never been something that in a black American community that we practice. Black women have always been central in any movement, whether revolutionary, social, they've been central. Not only that, black women were first awarded the opportunity to be able to even work in the workforce after slavery. So, and we had no power, which is the ability to act over our family during slavery. That's why the master would come in, and your wife won't have a baby by the master, light skin, you know what I'm saying? So we never had this whole man at the top over women.
Gotcha.
So that's one. So my thing is that, especially middle class black women, they have took the pill of white feminism as their own, and so they carry the same traits and talk about the same things, as like they came through the same experience as white women, which is totally different. White women have literally, I read a little history about clothing, literally were subjugated by white males.
Man, they talk about they wouldn't let them vote.
They wouldn't let them vote. When we had the garment industry, they basically made them work literally for free. Right. They were raping them in the garment industry. They was telling them, if you want to get these hours, you got to.
And this is white women.
This is white women.
White women.
White women have always been subjugated, by their.
And so let me get what you're saying. So coming out of Africa, the black man and the black woman was pretty much equal. We never was like, nah, you gotta walk behind me and do all this old type of stuff.
Boy, in Africa, in certain parts of Africa, they might have some of that, but from my understanding, the history that I know of Africa, we didn't have that same dynamic as Europeans. As a matter of fact, even as Middle Easterns, I was reading this book about history. This Middle Eastern guy came. He was a Muslim, Arab Muslim, came to African Muslim community, and the dude, he was talking to the dude, and his wife was talking to a male, and he said, "Man, how you let your wife talk to another dude like that? We don't do that. Like, that's not Muslim." He said, "Man, that's not." He said, "That's her best friend.
Right.
They grew up together." And basically, he was saying, "Yeah, we don't follow them same standards as y'all got."
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. So,
but the white man, he treat his woman like property.
Historically, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, historically, and especially here. I'm just going to talk about here. Definitely, historically, yes. They didn't have the same in a lot of tribal communities. In they don't go through the male line. They go through the female line.
Right.
Yeah. So females, they even have this lady. She lives in Silver Spring now, but she is the king of her community.
Man. And so I'm still trying to follow you. And so what you saying is we didn't have the power because we out there picking cotton together. We don't run nothing.
Man, we was picking cotton. Yes.
Okay.
That's the thing. We picking cotton together in a house, master's house together, light skin.
Get whooped together and all that.
Yeah.
And so when the white female come out and say, "Hey, man, the men taking advantage of us," our black women just jumped in line with the white women.
Yeah, I believe a lot of them have, yes.
Yeah.
And but it's a thing like you just talked about, right? Everybody followed the standard for the masses.
Right.
And let other people define reality instead of investigating reality for oneself.
Right.
And looking at reality. So that's the main piece right now is feminism, women empowerment, which is important.
Right.
We need women to be able to be just as
most
educated and all that,
right? Most definitely.
But you have to understand history because your history was different from their history.
Right.
Your history was of subjugation with your man.
Right.
But a lot of them, I'm not saying all, a lot of them follow those same standards. Like, black women this, black, everybody, every male I know, when they talk about central figures in their life, they all talk about their mothers. You talk about your mom.
Man, most definitely.
My mom raised me. And as a matter of fact, right now, 70 to 80% of the households are ran by women.
Right.
So to promote that is counter to black people's progress, if you ask me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you something. Your average woman is making. I don't have no statistics on it, but I'm just talking about the guys I know.
Yeah.
The wife might be making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 more than the man. It's kind of hard to try to tell her what to do when she's making so much more than you.
And black women are more educated than men in this society.
Yeah.
And black women have been getting access to resources more than men in this society.
Right.
Which makes sense.
Right.
Because especially during the civil rights movement, if you want to break up a movement, you have to separate the people within the movement first. And the first nucleus of any movement is a man and a woman. Right. Is a family.
Yeah.
So if you break that nucleus up, you give them, you distort their opportunity to progress. Yeah. So, it's a dude named Thomas Sowell. I don't believe all his, but he's like it's a big thing with this liberal and conservative.
Right.
He's a conservative economist, a doctor.
Right.
But his whole thing is that they really destroyed the black community with welfare.
I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that.
He said because before, if you had a child in wedlock, and you were struggling, you didn't have the system to help you. You can maybe go to a church and they'll give you food,
or the community,
and they'll give you food. Yeah. But it was a struggle.
Right.
Now they set up a situation that you almost being rewarded.
And but, and I'm not breaking, but I want to piggyback on that because one of the main things to get welfare is it can't be a man around.
Yeah. If a man in the household gave a baby, get them.
You can't get those resources, and so that's basically breaking up the family, like you just saying. Yeah.
And so what it is empower women to say, I don't need
a man.
I don't need a man.
Yeah, I'm getting this money.
And made her be less responsible about having a child and not being married.
Man. And so because I want to understand what you're saying. The more kids I can have, the more welfare I can get, the better off I'm doing.
Yeah. If you call that,
that's
better off. Of course.
Now I remember a long time ago I seen Murray Burry. He was on one of these talk shows, and the mom had like 12 or 13 kids, and she had a daughter that had like 12, 13, 14 kids. And he was like, man, y'all bitches need to stop having. It was funny as I don't know. I want to say it was the Maury show, and they was so mad with him. But he like, y'all keep having these babies that the government got to take care of. Don't nobody know the father name.
See, here's the thing.
Go ahead, break it down.
You hear what you said? They were mad at him.
They was telling him the truth. Mad with him, man.
They were mad.
Born him and everything.
Mad for telling it. And see, this is now back to the manosphere.
Right.
That is a response to that.
Yeah.
That's why Kevin was saying, look, they were so mad at him.
Right.
For telling the truth.
Right.
And this is where it comes to, when you talk about equality,
right,
you have to be equal enough to accept the truth.
Man.
Now, we can't be equal.
Right.
Or you can stay in the lane and just complain about everything.
Right.
You tell a man, I don't like you, you broke as hell.
He have to accept it. You know, Kevin Savage, but anything that song Scrubs.
Yeah.
You a Scrubs?
Yeah. I don't want to get on the passenger side. Yeah. So a guy's supposed to be able to accept that.
Right.
You have to accept you average at best.
Yeah. Man.
You can't, like, this whole thing about being mad because he said you average at best, and then you look at the person and it's facts.
And it's facts.
He said you fat, and you look at the person and it's fat.
Yeah.
He said you got 3 kids and don't have an opportunity.
Yeah.
You have.
You working at Popeyes, but you want a millionaire.
That's equality.
Yeah.
You don't get to you don't get to act like somebody who doesn't have responsibility or a child who can dream and live in la la land.
Yeah.
You have to accept responsibility.
But the girl said, shit, I'm gonna tend to my eyes and God's eyes.
Man, we all tend in God's eyes. He made you.
Hey, that was my man. She said, God made me. I'm a 10. Kevin Samuel would say, well, in my eyes, you a 3. Who is you to tell me?
And look how much they hated him, though.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because the same thing when Mary Berry told the truth, and they got, like, how is he wrong?
Yeah.
So that's the whole, back to the manosphere, that's some of the response that they fighting against. It's like, y'all can't be able to say whatever and create a reality that's not necessarily true and just like be able to just do whatever you want, man, without responsibility.
And can't take no type of criticism.
Yeah, can't take no criticism, man.
Mm-hmm.
Men be taking criticism forever. And a matter of fact, you're supposed to be able to, from the old school, especially from what you're talking about, you're supposed to be able to accept it.
Man, I mean,
and look in the mirror and see is it true or not and move forward. Yeah.
And try to adjust and do better.
Yeah.
You know, somebody tell you, hey man, you know, you could do better, get a better job, this and that. You don't get mad with a person, you go look in the mirror, I could do better than this.
Yeah.
Well, if I gotta go back to school or go get a trade or whatever. And yeah, I can do. Yeah, so
yeah. And then the manosphere is also talking about, which I got you on here for, like you've been married for 30 years, but like a lot of guys in the black manosphere, it's called the educated lanes. Mm-hmm. So they complain that women only want bad boys.
Yeah.
And so it's a part of the complaint, like, oh, you always complain about you don't got no man, which when you were young, all you did was date bad boys. And then you looked at us as a lane when we were going to school and everything.
Right.
And so that's another part of the whole manosphere thing. And so what would you say to that? To the guys who they define, and this in the black manosphere is called educated lanes. How would your response be to men who think that way?
I would think my response would be, from my experience, I'd be like, man, you should be glad to be in the educated lane, because all the guys that I knew that were nerdy guys and made all A's and doing this, man, they running $1 million companies now, and they got the baddest cars, the baddest house, and the baddest women.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't let nobody, just keep doing what you're doing.
Keep doing
keep doing what you're doing.
And then don't put, my thing is, I think another thing is, don't put, man or woman, don't put so much weight of yourself into somebody else.
Don't put no weight of nobody.
Thank you for saying that up.
Don't let nobody.
Don't let nobody, like my man just say, rent space in your head.
Yeah. Just keep on moving, man. Just keep moving.
And if she don't like you, that's a good indication that it wasn't a good fit anyway. It wasn't meant to be. It's not a reflection of your worth or nothing. Yeah. You can't let nobody else idea of you define your worth. Yeah. You have to define your worth for yourself. Say good. Yeah. And then, man, it's this dude, man. Matter of fact, I seen this thing that this pimp said. He said, man, I like who like me.
Yeah. Most definitely.
He said the problem is y'all out there. He said, you always chasing the one who you like instead of liking the one. He said, see, I don't have no problem. He said, they like me. I go with the one who like me. And he said this is a part of a lot of problems. Yeah. People who treat us right, we don't like. People who treat us wrong, we steadily chasing after them. Man, it's like who like you.
Like you.
If she like you, man, if you see if you're attracted to it, whatever. Yeah. I ain't saying you get this anybody, but it's nobody that important.
Be trying to chase these Instagram looking models and all this other stuff, man. Like you say, get somebody to care about you,
man. And you can go a long way,
man. You gonna go all the way,
man.
They got your best interests at heart, man.
Yeah. Hey, man, this dude said something, man. It was a real good. I felt like I wanted to see what you think about this. He's a part of this whole manosphere, but. He said something. He said, man, the woman, men and women, we're different. Mm-hmm. We're equal, but we're different. Mm-hmm. And we all we have different powers. Mm-hmm. And we add together, we can multiply. He said, man, a woman represents multiplication. He said, so when you have your seed, which is your sperm, you plant it in her and she multiplies a reflection of both of you. Mm-hmm. He said, so when you get a woman, if you should have your own focus, you should have a direction you're going, but a woman should come and multiply that goal and help you push you even further in that direction, because that's the inherent power of a woman. Because of her intelligence and everything, she has the power to multiply something and to make it better. And I thought that was interesting.
And if you look at most of the people that's doing real well, man, a lot of them be husband and wife couples. They working together, and it just it lessens the confusion when y'all going to work together. And he's saying he got to stay out all night. You don't really, but now you out with him, working with him, and making sure stuff get there. Just lessons. I think that I agree with that. Yeah. I agree with that, champ. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I know for myself, when I was younger, I kind of did stuff divided from my wife.
Yeah.
Now I try to do everything with my wife. Yeah. And it's making it so much easier, man.
Yeah.
And the trust, she trusts me a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's making it a lot easier.
And you always say what you said, Johnny said, "Now that's the one."
Man, that's the one.
That's the one right there.
That's the one right there. Yeah. So man, I was happy to hear about this man. For like I say, man, you bring up some good points. But when I first watched that Red Pill, I just felt like it was a bunch of weak dudes. But I could see some points that they have, far as how the women current the guys. Yeah, I can see some points, but I still man. From where I come from, man, if you taking care of the bills and you handling your business in the bedroom, and this, you ain't gonna have too much problem.
Man, how about that?
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah. So you know, and I think you have to understand for in white male culture, women were fighting against is that before, like, they couldn't even marry who they wanted to. They
wouldn't let them work.
Wouldn't let them work. And like what you saying is that they can come home every day and demand sex and supposed to give it to them without satisfying them.
And not come home.
Yeah, or not come home.
Yeah,
right?
And not come home.
Yeah, and
go to the slave quarters. What you gonna do?
Yeah, but even after that, I'm just talking about even now. So one of the things too is I see is a lot of stuff is happening. It's now women are saying, black women always gonna tell you, man, that wasn't the.
Oh no, they gonna tell you.
You need to do better.
You need to do
or
better.
I see you when I see you.
Yeah.
I'll call you. Don't call me.
Don't call me.
Yeah. So
matter of fact, bring me some batteries. I got somebody going. Hey, act like that. Act like FedEx. You ain't even just ring the bell. Let me know the batteries here.
Amazon
Prime. Yeah. Just need the batteries here.
But that's another thing is that now with they say it's in the 70s a sexual revolution, is that women are now like, nah, man, you ain't gonna just jump on me.
Yeah.
Man, I need to, and white women in particular, like for a long time, dudes just do whatever.
Yeah.
And so now, what a lot of guys are facing up against is that a woman don't have to be with you.
Yeah.
See, before, it was almost mandatory that a woman had, in the white culture, that a woman had to marry a dude, in spite if she liked him or not.
Right.
And he could just not be, whatever. Now, these women are saying, nah, that ain't gonna work.
That ain't gonna work.
Yeah, that ain't gonna work. And so my thing as a man, you have to take that responsibility.
You gotta take
it's another responsibility you got to.
Was you talking about DJ Andy? DJ, he ain't mean it. How much you say? I thank you for 10, 15 years.
What time is it?
Hey, tell you go to Breakfast Club? Tell Charlamagne I
Hey, see, man, you always starting something, man.
No, man.
You always starting something.
That was emasculating as I don't know what, man.
Yeah.
I felt sorry, and I felt sorry for Snow, man.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? There's one thing, your woman telling you, but then letting the whole world know you ain't satisfying the man.
But my thing is, it was something that he could have not agreed. He could have been like, nah, we ain't gonna talk about, like, now you told me we gonna work on that, but we ain't gonna tell the whole world.
Man, I wouldn't have, that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Man, took me 4 Viagra and got me a Red Bull. Vibrator in one hand and whipped cream in the other.
Hey, you might have died at the end of that.
I might have died, but she'd have been one time out of 10,000. I had an orgasm.
Oh man, you are the worst. Oh man. Yeah, man. That's so that's another thing with the manosphere is talking about this, all these men being emasculated. Yeah. Will Smith was a part of that conversation.
Yeah.
So that's the thing now, man. That's the thing. So
But it go back to it go back to the pimp. Like who like you,
man.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, like who like you, man.
You steadily chasing somebody,
Yeah. You know, because you do have women that like thugs or women that like educated guys. He need to get somebody that like him for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, man, when you get old and, man, you ain't having too much sex and this and that and this, man, you still got to be, your woman got to be your friend, man. Because, man, I done went through it like, man, all the kids got ain't nothing but me and my kids in the house.
Yeah. And I remember, you know, one thing I can tell, one thing that exposed how relationships really are was this pandemic.
Yeah.
And I remember you said, man, me and my lady doing good.
Man, we started doing better.
Yeah, you said y'all started, and a couple other people who said, yeah, man, we really got together.
Yeah.
And other people, they fell apart because they didn't really like each other. Yeah. You know, so. Yeah.
Everything was closed down.
And that's one thing that I can share with, you know, the public. You always say, man, you was like, man, she was like a good friend.
Oh, man, we was best buddies.
Yeah, you was saying, man, we can laugh together, we joan on
when
people,
we first met each other. He was like my best friend. Yeah. Matter of fact, I remember I had a buddy named Joe Spate. And Joe was like, man, you always with her. Yeah. Like, shit, man, she just like you, but I can hear her. Shit. That shit ain't even hard. But then you say good night, we say good night. We say good night, man. Yeah. I can knock her home. Shit. That ain't no,
But you know, in reality, and that's some of the negative part I don't like about the manosphere is like promoting a lot of like distrust of women and stuff. In reality, the way God set things up, your best partner supposed to be a woman.
Your mate.
Your mate.
Yeah.
He said, you know, in the Quran, he said, I've made things in pairs.
Right.
For you to take thought.
Right.
Meaning you should think about that.
Right.
Why did I make everything in pairs?
And so I'm glad you said that, because that's one thing I don't like about the manosphere, because you hear a lot of men sound like they hate women.
Yes.
And I'm like, nah, homie.
Yeah.
You just gotta find a one for you. Why you hate this woman?
Yeah.
That woman dogged y'all, but
if she said you was an educated lame, so what?
Yeah.
I remember I seen a joint, it was a Kevin Samuels joint. The dude was like, man, I'm going to med school, but my girlfriend, she just keep giving me a hard time because of this and that, and I'm trying to tell her that I'm in med school. And Kevin Samuels said whatever. He was like, man, you know, you should really be waiting till you're 30 and let her. I didn't really agree with what he was saying. He said let her get with her older. My thing was, Slim, you got to be half retarded.
Right.
You in med school.
Right.
He was a handsome dude.
Right.
And you worried about.
And so that's the key.
That's
the key. That's the key right there. Like you gotta focus on yourself. I would never tell my woman to go out and mess with an older dude. None of that. I ain't doing that. But I'm gonna say, if I gotta stop dealing with you till I get this. If you don't understand that I'm on this mission and back me on this mission, maybe we ain't.
Man, hold on, Tom. He is the top 2% of black men in the world.
Yeah.
Why are you worried about?
But see, man, you know.
Yeah, break it down.
When your heartstring.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he might have been in school. He might have been. I ain't gonna say a nerd, but an educated guy the whole time. So he ain't hanging out. He ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
And so he get a female.
Yeah. I got you. That makes sense.
The Rockets world.
Yeah.
Why she getting the head sing, humming the Star Spangled Banner.
You always got to
die for real. Because that'll turn you out.
Yeah.
And I done seen a lot of dudes get turned out.
I got it.
He ain't have, experience is the best teacher. So if you get a guy that start having sex earlier and he get his heart broke earlier, he got through it, he gonna be able to deal with stuff better. But your first time, this girl, she's so advanced, she's doing all these tricks and all this stuff, man. You can't think straight.
I got you.
You can't, because you could be like, man, I'm a man. Yeah. That shit don't even matter.
Yeah. I got you.
Man, we didn't grew up with dudes who supposed to go to the NBA and all that stuff and say, forget basketball. I'm gonna work at McDonald's and be with her.
Yeah.
And soon as he work at McDonald's, she gonna cut him off.
On top of that, you know what's so funny?
Yeah.
You right. And historically, whether it's in the Bible or whatever, they talk about Samson, all these different people. But in more recent times, you know, the king of England, so the dude who was next in line to be the king, he gave up the throne for a American woman. He gave up the throne. And the queen now, she's older, she's real old now, but she was mad at him because her father had it. He was like way down the line. And he was like, Dad, I wasn't expecting to be in this position. She was mad because he didn't take his rightful role, and her father got stressed out. And I think he ended up dying early.
Right.
But yeah, she was like, Dad, you let awful. He gave up a throne. Because she turned him out.
Turned him out?
Man.
That black in her. Man, he say once you go black, you don't go back. My man say fuck everything.
Man.
Yeah, so
I give up all royalty.
Man, I do
Okay.
Cause it's in all our lives, we done had somebody that we'll go crazy over.
Yeah, you right.
Now the better thing is if you had it earlier, that you can kind of start to learn yourself and got your heart broken. You can.
And then another thing too is having a good friend to talk to.
Yeah.
Like I might, y'all might talk. You be like, Neil, man, you gone crazy. Yeah. You know, you had somebody, especially an older dude who had more experience.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't need all the experience, but that's why it's always important to have mentors and people like that because you might have the experience and be like, nah, this is how it go down.
Hey, Holmes, I had my brother Cootie had a little buddy, and I think they was like in the 10th or 11th grade. And the dude told me, he said, man, I love this woman. We're going to elope and get married. And so I'm asking, they like in 11th grade. I say, man, have you had sex with anybody else? He said, nah. I say, man, out of all these trillion women in the world, you going to lock into that at 15, 16 years old?
Wow.
I say, don't do it, champ.
Man, so then he
ended up not doing it. He didn't. Matter of fact, he was pressing the girl out so much, she stopped fooling with him.
It's always the case.
Yeah, he looking through basketball, man, playing. He was a bad young joker, man.
Yeah.
Messed him up, Holmes.
Wow.
But now he couldn't hate.
Wow.
Yeah, he never get back on. Never got back on track.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I ain't saying, I know people that, been in love all through, but I do think you need to try a couple things out before you just settle all the way in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense, man.
Yeah.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, so man, we pretty much done, Champ.
Yeah, man.
Man, it's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe to this channel. And check out our website, blackfunctionman.com. And man, that's about it for me, champ.
That's it, man. Mind, body, soul. The goal is to die young as late as possible.
And remember, always give God the glory. Without him, man, we wouldn't be here, champ.
There it is.
Man, he woke us up this morning. There's a lot of people that wake up this morning, champ.
Man, how about that? Yeah,
man,
so we got another day. You got another day to achieve whatever it is.
Yeah. Man, when you wake up, you always get another chance to right the wrong you did yesterday, man, or to better yourself, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and no excuses.
No excuse. Yeah.